Women's water polo records the first win in the history of the program. It's their inaugural season, and it only took 3 games for the fresh-faced team. Hello, I'm Anna Gomez.
And I'm Jake Smolinski. Women's basketball. That's all I got to say. This team, oh, yeah. You're watching LaSalle TV's Home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. The softball team opens with a 4-game win streak to start their season, while men's basketball hits a 3-game losing streak as they look to finish theirs.
And later, we don't even know what to say about women's basketball, so we bring on LaSalle's premier voices. Who cares about Cal Beers? We're talking Steve Graham and Eddie Dunn, the voice women's basketball for the past 3 years. Yeah.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine Top 3.
Top 3.
Top 3.
All right, and we're going to go number 1. Women's basketball win versus St. Bonaventure in round 1 of the A10 tourney. And it looks like the stars have aligned for our Warrior women as they prepare for the quarterfinals against St. Joe's. Well, you know what? We actually got hit with a triple whammy. We have Griffin getting all conference first team honors for offense for A10. Alston got all defensive conference team honors. And friggin' Jeff Williams, love of our lives, was named coach of the year in the A10 conference. We're bringing a team from 5-25 to 17-15-12. I totally botched. That's embarrassing. But the team earned their second round spot after a tight win against St. Bonaventure. Anna, talk us through this.
Let's roll that clip. All right, so St. Bonaventure was seeded 11th, and early in the season, LaSalle actually beat the Bonnies 57-45. And on Saturday, February 25th, LaSalle narrowly just beat the Bonnies again, 73-70. LaSalle opened up with a great first quarter following the lead of Adriana Miller, who had a team high of 20 points. That's her also career high. LaSalle was leading the Bonnies 19-8 in the first quarter, but then they had a disastrous second quarter where the Bonnies outscored them to come back 24 points. But after the half, the team regrouped. LaSalle came back in style with Jasmine Alston scoring 11 points and 13 assists for the game. Lisa Mincer also brought the heat. She had 16 points of her own. We should not have been such a tight game. We should have won much easier, but we made it. We got through it. We're in round 2. And for number 2, February 26th through March 1st was National Eating Disorder Awareness Week here at LaSalle. Back in February, SportsLine had the opportunity to talk to Megan McGee, a coordinator for NEDAW at LaSalle. She gave us the scoop on what the committee had in store this year for the important initiative. In an effort to spread awareness about eating disorders, NEDAW hosted Zumba dancing, a panel openly discussing the scope of eating disorders in America, and a LaSalle Chapel Evensong. The week was capped with an annual volleyball tournament that helps Defy E's philanthropy, which is aimed at awareness and treatment of anorexia nervosa.
And then for number 3, SportsLine. Oh, actually, SportsLine is definitely proud to have NEDAW on campus to spotlight such an important issue, which brings us to another source of pride for LaSalle. Number 3, we're talking Ty Garland in Iceland. I guess globally he will now be known with the Northern Nordic Floater. So basically Garland is now playing in the Breidablik Icelandic international team, and he's living in Seal Pup Bay. And he's preparing for his first season, and Philly.com went and caught up with Garland out there. And with only 4 hours and 7 minutes between sunrise and sunup out in Kopavåger, it's definitely a drastic switch up from always sunny Philadelphia. But we will definitely keep you up on the up and up about what's happening on the Northern Atlantic. So also check out the article on Philly.com. It's a pretty amazing read.
It's fantastic. However, transitioning from a new start on Ty Garland's end, men's basketball is struggling right now as they close out their season. On Saturday, February 26th, the team took on a low-tier UMass team on the road. It was a mess. Minutemen guard Zach Lewis ate his vitamins that morning and put up 37 points to lead the team, despite best efforts from Pookie Powell and BJ Johnson with 24 points and 20 points apiece. The rest of the team just could not produce compared to a charged-up UMass squad. Even though the Explorers were shooting from almost 50% from the floor, UMass controlled the ball and beat us in every single part of the game. This loss brings the Explorers to 8-8 in the A-10 with one final game to play in the regular season against Fordham.
Actually, let's not just talk about, there was one other game. That's St. Louis. And the basketball team played Wednesday with only one more shot made than turnovers, shooting 4 of 26 from three-point land, and the Plagues just Jordan Price with only 2 barbarous points. Thank you, Steven Silvestro, for writing that in there. And on to women's lacrosse. Check out game footage shot on the day we shoot this actual show. Come on, look, Mom, we can multitask. Roll it. All right, so women's lacrosse begrudgingly allowed the Broad Street Bullies of Temple to the McCarthy Stadium, and despite a strong start with a 4-1 lead, Temple got physical like immediately, and as you can kind of see here, it's just a straight up like Braveheart skirmish, and it looks painful. That's all I'm gonna say. But we immediately came off those shooting like the 4 goals, but then right here you can see just capitalizing on a free position through play, and LaSalle just could not try to contain like the lightning fast Temple offense. We did have our good moments, however, with Allie Ilgenfritz scoring 4 goals, but as you can see right here, just Temple played way harder than we did as she cuts around, takes the long way around, almost decks the ref on the way, and then bang, one timer. I don't know, it's just heartbreaking. And you know what? We lost 13-10, and our record is now 1-2.
Those Broad Street Bullies. That's tough. Women's water polo traveled to Penn State Behrend to compete in the tournament this past weekend. On Saturday, the Explorers were defeated by Washington and Jefferson, following by a slim margin of 6-7. The team lost again later that day to Gannon University by a score of 3-15. However, the last game of the night finally brought the Blue and Gold its first recorded victory in the team's history as they defeated Lindenwood University's club team 7-5 in exhibition. By the fourth quarter, the game was tied 5-5. LaSalle freshman Casey Seos scored the game-winning goal for the Explorers, followed by a goal from Jenny Fermain, giving the team its 7-5 win. On Sunday, the team earned their first collegiate win against host Penn State Behrend. Freshman Stephanie Morales led the team with 4 goals, while Raquel Jimenez, Caitlin Kubo, and Jenny Fermain all had 2 goals each, and Elisa Pelenka and Katie Seos contributed 1 goal each, giving LaSalle a 12-8 victory.
And then softball started the season with a bang at the Green and White Invitational in Charlotte, where they took 4 of their first 5 games. In the first game against Fairfield, the Explorers jumped out to a 5-0 lead early in the first and never looked back. LaSalle won the game 12-4, thanks to homers from Michelle Haggerty and Suzanne Swinicki. In Game 2, the Explorers defeated the host team, Charlotte, by a score of 4-1. And Marlo Roadcap earned her first win of the year, allowing only 5 hits while striking out 3. The team recorded their 3rd consecutive win against Robert Morris the following day with a 7-5 victory against the Colonials. And later in the day, the Explorers faced Fairfield and earned the victory in a close 6-4 contest. Again, LaSalle jumped out to an early lead, scoring 4 runs in the first 2 innings. Fairfield would come within striking distance, but were silenced by Mackenzie Peace, who picked up her first save of the year. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end as the Blue and Gold fell to Charlotte in the final game of the weekend. The Explorers were held to a single run, losing their first game of the season by a score of 6-1.
Baseball battled their way through a tough 3-game series against East Carolina. In the first game, Kevin McGowan ripped a single up the middle, allowing Constantini and Rivera to tie up the game in the 3rd inning. That was the most action seen by LaSalle that day, which resulted in a 7-3 defeat. In Game 2, Giancarlo Rivera put his team on the board with a 3-run bomb. LaSalle would produce another run in the 9th inning, but it would not be enough to stop the Pirates, who took the game with a score of 8-4. Game 3 was a heartbreaker for LaSalle due to East Carolina scoring 8 runs in the bottom of the first. Ouch. LaSalle was only able to score 1 run throughout the game and lost 12-1. Wow. All right. Well, that's sad, but we're going to move on because that is all the sports action we have for this week. When we come back, you're in for a doozy. 2 SportsLine vets, LaSalle TV stars, and women's basketball broadcasting legends, Steve Graham and Eddie Dunn, will grace us with their presence to talk about what else? Women's basketball. Can the team win against St. Joe's on Friday? And what does Eddie think of when he hears the name Adriana Miller? Stick around.
Hey, did you hear what happened to Derek this weekend?
Yeah, I can't believe his friends just left them there. Did they not see how sick he was?
I guess they didn't want to get in trouble for like underage drinking, and like they probably thought they would get like arrested or something, but still.
Well, there is this thing called the Medical Amnesty Act.
I've never heard of that. What is that?
Well, basically, if your friend is drinking underage, you can help them out without getting in trouble if they need medical attention.
Oh, so it makes people more willing to help people who might have alcohol poisoning and not worry about getting in trouble.
Exactly, and it can save so many lives.
Yeah, definitely.
The Center for Disease Control reports that on average, alcohol is a factor in over 4,358 deaths in young people under 21. This number can be greatly reduced with responsibility, the Medical Amnesty Act, and the understanding that helping a friend is the most important thing.
3, 2, 1, action. You may think a guy would be producing this, but I can too. Anyone can find a cure.
Women are being downgraded for their physical ability, but you can be just as strong.
%20 of women are engineers, but it doesn't stop there.
I'm a tech girl. I'm a tech girl.
I am a tech girl.
I am a tech girl.
All right, welcome back, sports fans. Are you ready for some serious in-depth coverage of women's basketball? No? It doesn't matter because you have no choice. Well, our juggernaut women's team is facing St. Joe's on Friday in round 2 of the Atlantic 10 tournament. Whoever wins will go on to play the winner between number 2 George Washington and number 7 Duquesne. The Explorers are seeded 6th versus number 3 St. Joe's on Friday, March 3rd. Here to talk about what they need to do to beat the Hawks are longtime women's basketball radio personalities and darlings of LaSalle TV, Steve Graham and Eddie Dunn.
Hi, Eddie. Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
How are you boys doing?
Doing pretty well.
Fantastic.
Thanks for the intro.
Yes.
We want to thank you for coming on. We have a lot to talk about with this team.
Okay.
Now, I mean, let's get right into it. Women's basketball, when they played St. Joe's earlier in the season, they got murdered. It was
Yes.
it was 55-75 was the final score. Do you think we're ready to face them again?
I would say yes. I mean, I'm usually the more optimistic of us two when it comes to the women's basketball team. The first time, I think we both thought the first time that they versed them that was definitely going to be a win because St. Joe's they had a really bad season out of conference play, and they got really good once we started playing A10 teams. And so when we versed them, they probably weren't even half as good as they are now. But I don't think we have a bad team. I think we definitely have a legitimate shot.
No, but to put St. Joe's into perspective, they went 4-9 non-conference, and then when they started playing the A10, they went 12-4.
Oh, geez.
But LaSalle women's, the first time around when we hosted them, there was no doubt they were looking past St. Joe's and onto the Richmond game. And 20 points speaks for itself, that deficit. But second time around looked a little bit better on the road. But I like their chances. They understand this team now, and there's a lot of talent on that St. Joe's team. But, you know, LaSalle's record this season speaks for itself.
Yeah. And what do you think then, I guess, in terms of LaSalle, like what weaknesses are in our game right now, you know?
I would say inconsistency above all, because we would have, I think the record would be even better if the team played more consistently, not just from game to game, but even quarter to quarter. Because, I mean, we've typically considered them a strong second half team. They had great first quarters this season, but then they really struggled in the second quarter, and then they'd have to recover in the second half. and usually it would be the fourth quarter when they would finally get things going again. So I think the inconsistency is their biggest problem.
Yeah, the biggest what-if surrounding this team, and it only happened one game this season, which they won on a buzzer beater against UPenn, is when Amy Griffin can get it together and have her career games in the 20s. But then you have Adriana Miller and Micaiah Owens and everybody off the bench also put on double digits. Because we know how many offensive threats this team has, but they never do it in the same game, and that's what hurt them coming down the stretch in so many games.
That's true. I mean, we literally saw the inconsistency happen in the Bonaventure game just this past week.
Yeah.
We're a winning team right now, 17-12. This is a really good place to be. Do you think that even though we've come back from this sad last season, do you think that we're an underdog here?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, because one, we're an underdog you take into consideration last season, really the past few seasons. This is the first time they've been this good in 10 years. It was the last time that they were this good. And you take into consideration how well St. Joe's is playing right now. We're absolutely the underdog. They're rolling.
Yeah, St. Joe's won the A-10 just 2 years ago. So
that's true.
Yeah.
They've built a winning culture themselves with recruits after recruits, but LaSalle turned it around. And most of the season, most games, they weren't the underdog. And we got to talk to Jasmine Olsen a couple times during the season. She says, you know, we're just learning how to win. We don't get this concept of we're ahead in the game and we're not chasing. And now it'll be a different mentality going against St. Joe's because they're back to the underdog, but that might be what they're comfortable with.
Yeah. And because especially like you're seeing in these games, especially when they're facing wasn't it against Harvard where Adriana Miller had one of her like huge games? Like I'm thinking of like the 27.
UPenn.
Okay, UPenn, yeah. I feel like whenever they're in that underdog position, somebody steps up and starts making those plays. Like even like Amy Griffin in that loss, the 37-point game.
And like Steve said, you need everyone to step up if you're going to beat a team like St. Joe's.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And I guess like, do you think that we are mentally prepared right now?
I think so. I mean, this is a position that they're not used to being in, so you could make the argument that they're not prepared to be there. But they've played so well this season, and I think they've been really hungry to get to this spot and to be in this kind of position. So I think they've been mentally prepared for years, and now they're finally getting their chance to actually do it.
And you have Mincer, you have Austin, and you have Owens, who are all seniors, who have all been having great stats in this past few weeks. This is going to be a big couple of weeks for them if they can make it past the St. Joe's game, just to see how they're able to perform as seniors. I mean, this is huge.
They want to go out with a bang, and just to have that accolade this season where Coach Williams gets the A-10 Coach of the Year, I mean, it's no secret he was on the hot seat entering this season. You know, it was not a very successful campaign, injury plagued, but I think they want to keep this rolling for him. As long as the A-10 Coach of the Year, let's win the tournament and get a tournament bid, you know, in the postseason.
Yeah.
That'd be huge.
All right, but to switch gears a little bit, you know, SportsLine viewers, I'm about to take you on a journey. And can we please pull up a full screen? Before these two studs were fine airwave jockeys, first they were fans. This is the earliest known photo of Steve and Eddie at a basketball game. Then there was a switch. These two adolescents burst onto the play calling stage for Go Explorers. And they then proceeded to take over the hearts of the Explorer fan base, calling the games for the online stream. And they kept, you know, just giving it like a voice, a hopeful voice in the trying times for the women's basketball team. And you know what? Steve even went through a cocky stage. However, in their golden season finale, they solidified their place in LaSalle sports history, getting to call their big old dub for the women's team on the goal of home floor against the Bonnies. And you know what? These boys bleed the blue and gold, and it is a pleasure to have these, if I may say, broadcast pioneers on desk. So first of all, I just wanted to talk about you guys, just about your origin story, your superhero origin story. How did you guys end up getting to call games for Go Explorers?
I mean, sophomore year we started with basketball. I think maybe freshman year though, or maybe it was sophomore year, I'm not sure, but we were doing, I know at least I was doing soccer games and volleyball games for Go Explorers because they didn't have anyone to do them and they just wanted a voice. And I at the time wanted to be a play-by-play commentator after school, so I said I'll do it. And then the vacancy opened up for basketball, and Molly Gallagher, who was in charge of everything over there, she emailed me first. She's like, "You've been doing great on the soccer and volleyball streams. Do you want to do women's basketball?" It's like, I don't know anything about basketball, but I'll do it.
So did you guys both just learn on the job? Like, what was this like?
In the analysis side of things, you learn a lot more terms and play development and recruiting aspect of things and even a way to just keep all of that information in your mind throughout the game as things are. I mean, it's practice makes perfect. It's definitely one of those jobs.
I just want to clear something up. You two weren't a duo at first. You were
not,
solos.
We were not originally.
You were
a duo.
solo acts before
I
this.
think, yeah, I did a lot of the play-by-play, and then I would ask Steve to come and be the color guy, so I didn't have to do it by myself. And then,
I think
Eddie made the magic happen.
we did one volleyball game together. Yeah, he didn't know anything about volleyball.
I didn't know a single volleyball term.
I gotta ask them. Like, I feel like you guys have had like a very illustrious career. What is the fave call? Like your favorite call? Like, is there any moment that like stuck out to you that you guys got to, whether you talk about it, just like a moment that just felt electric?
I'm gonna be honest. I can't pinpoint a single call, but any time that the game would get close at the end and I could actually be excited about what was happening, that was a good call for me.
And that was a lot this season, specifically Harvard, as that came down to the end. Harvard finished 20-5 this season, and they broke the top 25 at one point in the country.
Wow.
So we lost to them with 1 second left, and that was fun to call. And then the final game, especially against Fordham, double overtime, it was a ton of fun this season.
That's awesome. And I guess like also kind of like looking back, I want to kind of move on just to another like little segment that we have here. And instead of just asking you about your favorite LaSalle players, I love to hear both of you make an imaginary call for some of these iconic LaSalle figures. And as you can see right here, let's pull up number 1. Alicia Cropper nails a last-minute buzzer beater.
Okay, Alicia Cropper, last-minute buzzer beater.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So here we go. We're coming down the court. Jasmine Alston takes it up the court. Feeds it outside. Alicia Cropper in the corner, fakes, puts it up, and she makes it! Yes, Cropper!
Oh my gosh, are we really surprised? Jasmine Austin, we call her the assist queen. She finds Alicia Cropper, who just sets up the plays for herself, makes it happen.
All right, Micaiah Owens, you got to see this one.
We'll go with Micaiah Owens?
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular situation?
I'm talking she cuts up through like butter through a layup.
This
For,
season?
like,
Through the paint, in the paint.
I'd say like last season.
All right, it's a different
Yes,
story.
different story.
Prime Owens.
All right, so again, we'll go Jasmine. Jasmine Olsen takes it up the court, and she gets it over to Griffin over there by the Explorer bench. Griffin gets it back to Alston. Alston finds Owens. She takes it through, finds a lane, lays it in there. Great job by Owens.
Miss 1,000, making it look easy. I wish I could make a layup like that.
All right, now we're gonna go to the youth. Adriana Miller. She just hits, takes a pass from Griffin across, and just nails an outside 3.
Okay, Jasmine off the court again. Finds Griffin on the inside. Griffin looking around, finding an open teammate. She's got Miller on the outside. Miller puts it up. Yes, Adriana Miller.
Adriana Miller making it rain. Young talent on this team, showing what this seasons ahead can prosper.
And now, I guess, is the final one in this, Amy Griffin. Like, I just takes...
One of those buzzer beaters, one of the 5.
Okay. Amy Griffin has it, taking up the court, fakes the shot, brings it to the outside. Griffin puts it up. Yes, she connects. That's 22 today.
22 points. She's on her way to 30. Are we really surprised anymore? This girl makes it look easy.
Your guys' synergy is beautiful. This is incredible. I'm so glad we got to witness this.
I feel like I just watched a game.
I know, seriously. I guess to kind of move in a little bit more, like, thank you guys for doing that, first of all. But I gotta ask, like, what players, I guess, over your guys' course, like, did you guys feel a special connection to? Like that one person, like, you secretly rooted for through thick and thin,
All right, I'm gonna say Jasmine Alston because she is always on the court, so I said her name more than any other player. I think if you made like a pie chart of the amount of time, Jasmine Alston would probably be 70% of the time I said her name. So I think I was always rooting for her, and especially to score this season. She never scored in seasons past, so to score this season and get those steals because she's obviously a good thief.
Yeah, and especially, like, what do you think about Jasmine Alston altogether? Like, good. I feel like she just really cleaned up everything for the Explorers, kept it all together. And also, what I want to see right now is we're going to go. I kind of compiled a bit of like a takeaway, a bit of a list, a highlight reel of some of my favorite plays from the season, and I just want to just hear you guys some color analysis over the top as well. I'm terrible at color analysis.
So kind of
I just make up.
but now we can see
yes, and you guys can see it.
Okay.
And so,
This is easier.
So we might as well. You know what? Let's just cue it.
Let's see what we got.
Let's see what happens. All right, so women's basketball top 5. First off is a Jasmine Alston playing every position, defensive right here. There's a couple of
There's
replays.
Alston. I can't see the players. He gets
Oh,
it,
okay.
saves it, gets it to Micaiah Owens. What a play
We're
there.
watching
That's
again.
Jasmine Alston sacrificing the body for her team.
Look at that.
Oh.
She just goes
And
straight
that's
for it.
tremendous
Yeah.
athleticism, Steve.
Yeah, definitely. And right here, next up, we have an Amy Griffin slapping the backboard. We're talking NBA Street.
Griffin denied. What a play there by
Amy
Amy
Griffin. It goes LeBron James block game 7, then that one.
Here's Miller for 3.
But botches
Nothing
it.
there.
But
Rebounded by Griffin. Jumper. Yes, Amy Griffin.
And as you can see, just look at how smooth that is.
Slow motion.
Oh,
my gosh.
beautiful.
A thing of beauty.
All right, now
Owens.
Micaiah Owens.
Fighting to the basket. What a layup there by Owens.
How did she do that? Maneuvering through traffic. Beautiful.
And then number 5
Here we go.
against
Amy
Bonnies.
Griffin on the outside. Kicks it out to Alston. Fighting her way through the defense. Lays it in off the glass.
Jasmine Alston breaking ankles, getting to the baseline.
Look at that, 3 defenders.
That's good court vision there by Griffin.
Amy Griffin making the passes.
Absolutely stunning. Thank
Yeah.
you guys for jumping on those.
Yeah. That was fun.
True broadcasters in their prime.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see what else you
No,
do in your
that's
careers.
the peak. That's the peak.
They've peaked. Well, you can catch the Explorers face off against their crosstown rivals at St. Joe's on Friday, March 3rd at 7 p.m. on the American Sports Network. We will be rooting for your team. And now we move on, Jake.
Time keeps marching and spring break is happening, but the sports don't stop. We're talking picks of the week. Take it. Picks of the week, yeah, picks. Picks of the week. All right, we're talking pick number 1. Pick number 1. Well, it's just about time for spring break. Yeah, that's good. You know what? I'm excited. You know who else should be excited? Women's softball. Why? Because they're the majestic winners. Second, they'll be playing about 40-second games over spring break while I'll be sitting on a beach with my grandma in an old person town in Florida. Val Piera is going to hit a grand slam at some point that will knock the martini I'll be sipping out of my hand halfway from across Florida. That's right. We got Val mean mugging at the plate. Michelle Haggerty putting numbers on the board and a whole slew of pitchers ready to dull down the defensive side. I'm going to give us a 70-30 win-loss ratio. Yeah, we're talking fractions. Then pick 2, I'm taking a mean win for women's lacrosse over the Stetson Hatters. Tony Mazzetti, she's going to fling a lacrosse ball through Stetson's 10-gallon hat and make it a 2-gallon hat. Is that scientifically possible? I don't know. But Stetson's a tired, broke-down cowboy with 3 less losses on the season so far. You know what? I think our Explorers, led by Elgin for Mazzetti, are good. And you know what? Yeah, we're good. And so anyway, we're taking a look. I don't know. I lost all the papers. John Baptiste LaSalle, he's going to be on the side. Just an angel. He's an angel. Tamgola, something. And then baseball. We're going to do a winner something. I don't know. We're mildly invincible. Yeah, that's my pick number 3.
Well, thank you so much, Jake. Do you guys have anything else to say before we wrap the show up?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you. Well, that just about wraps it up for us this week. I want to thank Jake. I want to thank Steve. I want to thank Eddie. See you at this game. See you at the game, guys.
Cut it. We're good. We're good.